Andrew Hogue here for Soundwave Radio on andrewhogue.com. 2014. We do have Andy from the Black Veil Brides with us. Second appearance at Soundwave.
Second one, yeah.
And a lot's happened with the band over the last couple of years. Of course, the record Wretched and Divine, a very interesting concept record as well. And many other things changing in the ever-changing music biz too. Welcome to Soundwave 2014, Andy, and andrewhogue.com.
Thank you, man. I'm happy to be here. It's exciting.
All good. So let's talk a bit about, obviously, the recent record and the whole concept as well. I mean, it's definitely one of those albums that you have to play from start to finish. Obviously, there's little interludes and things. You can't put it on a shuffle because it's not going to make sense. Is it something that you're going to consider doing down the track, or was it one of those, this is just going to be a one-off? Because concept albums can be, for some, hit and miss.
Yeah, I think it's probably, I don't foresee us going into that again, at least right away. I think it was a lot of fun to do it, but it's also very tedious to build this concept, and it's very hard to, you're writing songs based on a story, and I tend to write about things I know, and if I go in that day and I want to write about this, I'll write about this, but when you're writing around a concept, you have to take your ideas that are about your own life and try to tailor them to be about this story. So I think we did a great job of it. I'm really happy with the record. I don't know if it's something we would do again immediately, but maybe down the line. Yeah.
Now let's talk a bit about different generations of heavy music fans. This station itself, andrewhogue.com, prides itself on representing 40 plus years of all different types of heavy music. We know the scene has become heavily segregated now. There's so many subgenres, and again, there's more variety than ever before for all different types of fans, but at the same time it starts to create little niche groups, and then there seems to be a lot of sort of infighting. And I read a quote that you mentioned a couple of months ago about the sort of heavy music scene is becoming quite cannibalistic, like it's going to eat itself alive because everyone wants their stuff to be noticed more. I think it's all just more of a ploy for acknowledgement from fans to say, hey, my genre is better than your genre, when really metal music or heavy music in general used to be us against the majority. Now it seems, as you mentioned, has sort of a cannibalistic feel that it might eat itself alive. I mean, is that just due to the fact of, obviously the accolades the band has received over the last couple of years is just, as we call it in Australia, tall poppy syndrome?
Okay.
What's your view on the possibility of this sort of changing?
It's a bit of a double-edged sword because you look at, like you said, the us against them dynamic. When something in our world starts to become successful, it's a hard thing to look at, because you go, okay, well, this is something where it was initially supposed to be these people in dirty clubs playing heavy music and, being alternative, that term's kind of widely used now, but at the time, and then offshoots of that, things get successful. If something's good, people will like it. That's just the way that the world works. Now what we have, it seems that if a band in our world, which is a wide world, becomes successful, the metal community or the hard rock fans, a lot of them are very quick to jump on it and turn their back because now it's sell out, or Avenged Sevenfold should be, and I'm not saying they aren't, but should be a very celebrated band in our world. They're a band that's got 10 plus years as a band. They've had 2 number 1 records. Whether you like their music or not, those guys have put in the time, and they belong to the hard rock community. They are, for better for worse, whether you like them or not, they are ours. When their last record came out, you've seen all these people jump on them, sellouts, whatever else, and you're like, well, wouldn't it be fantastic if people that came from our world and love the same things as us, ostensibly, succeed? It means that we're succeeding as a community. But that's not the way it's seen often. And I think a lot of that, it's not right or wrong. There just is inherent cannibalism in the genre.
Yeah, I agree, because in a sense, I've noticed over the years, being a fan of this music as well, a lot of the community wants the recognition from the majority, yet don't want to be a part of it. But as soon as it kind of gets some recognition, Metallica Black Album is a pretty generic example. People just went, even still now, that album people talk about 20 years later.
Because I love the Black Album. If I say that I like the Black Album, people are like, well, he's an idiot. He doesn't. It's a great album. I'm sorry, if you look, I was looking through like the only records that have ever gone diamond ever. There's only like 12 records that have ever sold 30 million copies or whatever. Black Album's right up there. No other hard rock or metal records are on there. You got Michael Jackson, Elton John, that kind of shit, and then you have Metallica's Black Album. That should be our shining star,
Absolutely.
But people will trash on it.
And so, like I said, it's probably going to continue this way. I'd like to think it will eventually change. I mean, that's why, again, with the station, we try and keep things as broad as possible, just to encourage people to hopefully open their minds or admit to their friends, hey, I'm actually a fan of this band, and,
That's another big thing, man. I always joke that, if there's something of us that's posted online, all these people talking shit. And I immediately, and what I always joke about is, and yet, we, in America, we're in the top 5 highest selling rock bands of the year every single year. Somebody's buying our record. If everybody hates it so much, how is it selling so many copies? You would have said, oh, it's just one person buying all of it. So there's a certain element of like, if something becomes popular in any capacity, as a hard rock fan, people are afraid to admit that they like it, And so that's an interesting dynamic that I don't know. I'm guilty of it too. When I was a kid, I think an example would be My Chemical Romance. Everybody liked My Chemical Romance. All the girls liked My Chemical Romance. I remember thinking I was way too cool to like something that was awesome. Then I bought the CD and I'm like, this is awesome. But I couldn't admit it. It took me a little time, and I'm like, okay.
A lot of it boils down to just peer pressure, really.
Yeah.
And some people carry that through their later years, which can be quite, I think, petty and immature when, it's just all about celebrating someone's interest in what they're into. So, anyway, we live in hope. We can get you to choose one of your favourite tracks from the latest record, Richard and Divine, and maybe a couple of last words to the fans across the world, of course. This is a worldly station.
Did you say I should choose a song?
Yeah.
Oh, geez. So hard. We're playing it on this tour. I like Nobody's Hero. That's one of my favorite songs on the record.
Any particular reason?
It's a very personal lyric. It's our fans very early on kind of took us and gave us the power to be their sort of heroes. And that's very humbling. It's also very hard to sometimes reconcile the fact that I'm still just a guy trying to get through life, and I don't know all the solutions to stuff. And we get a lot of people that come to us with very serious problems, and I sometimes feel as if I owe them to tell them that I don't know all the solutions. And so that song's a little bit about me just being a guy but trying my best to be helpful to our audience.
Yeah. Done deal. Let's lock it in now here on Soundwave Radio on andrewhogue.com. Thanks, Andy.
Thanks.